Yeah. So if you haven't heard, a couple of weeks ago, like last week, wasn't it? Last week? A couple of weeks ago. A lie got started and propagated all around right-wing media, with right-wing influencers and all kinds of people jumping on board and claiming its validity, to the extent that it actually made it to a speech given by a vice presidential candidate, J.D. Vance, and into an answer that Donald Trump offered at the presidential debate. The lie is that Haitian immigrants in the Springfield, Ohio area are stealing and eating the pets of the locals, of the residents of Springfield, that their pets are being kidnapped, pet-napped, and eaten by immigrants. And last week, there were a huge number of threats made in the Springfield, Ohio area. All kinds of different threats made. I don't know the details of them all, but there were bomb threats. Anyway, it's just awful. Lots of threats coming in. They had to cancel schools. This morning I heard that the police would be going to all the various schools in the Springfield area, making sure that they're safe every day. It's ridiculous. This lie has led to people being harmed. Right? We talked about that last week. When we bear false witness against others, we are besmirching their reputation. We're minimizing them. We're diminishing them in the eyes of the judge, in the eyes of the public. We're harming them. It's not the same as just a lie. Bearing false witness causes damage. It causes real damage to the people you're lying about. Right? It causes real damage to people in general. And in this case, in Springfield, Ohio, thankfully so far, as of recording this, there have been no injuries reported as a result. But what about the psychological injuries of the kids who had to evacuate schools? What about the psychological? What's about the psychological and emotional injuries of people who were threatened, who were told that this was going to happen to them, that awful stuff was going to happen to them? What about them? That too is an injury. Thankfully, not a physical one, but it is an injury. I was thinking about J.D. Vance this morning, which thankfully isn't something I do very often, but I had watched a couple of opinion videos on what we're going to talk about a little later, that speech he gave at the Faith and Freedom Coalition supper. And the story of Cain and Abel popped into my brain. Cain and Abel were the first two children of Adam and Eve, brothers. And Cain, when they grew up, Cain became incredibly jealous of Abel. And that jealousy, the culmination of that jealousy, the fruit of that jealousy was Cain decided and did murder his brother Abel. Now in the story, there's an interesting moment because God comes and God knows both of these guys. God at this moment, he's still walking. Maybe not physically like with Adam and Eve, but the stories go that God says to Cain, "Where's your brother?" Cain utters that famous line, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And God says, "Wait a second, I can hear him. Listen, I can hear his blood crying out. What have you done?" Now, the story goes on. God punishes Cain, gives him this mark, so that nobody will harm him, and he sends him away. Sends him away into the hills where he's to live with the other people. But he's no longer a part of this family. He's no longer to be around Adam and Eve. He's done in this area. He has to go away. But it was that part where it said, I can hear, where God says, I hear his innocent blood crying out to me. I hear his suffering. I hear his pain. I know what you've done. I know what you've done. I know you've done something horrible. There's no escaping it, right? One of the other thoughts that popped in my, blood is on my hands. It's something that's said from time to time in the Bible. Their blood is on my hands. Their blood is on your hands. I don't want their blood on my hands. Pilate says it about when he convicts and sentences Jesus. I don't see anything. I don't see a problem here. So if you want this done, we can do it. But this isn't my responsibility. This is on you, right? And the leaders of the leaders in Jerusalem say, yes, fine, his blood is on us. The harm that's being caused by these lies, it has a place to rest, right? Somebody is responsible for it. Blood is on their hands. And as we propagate that lie, as we continue to share that lie, as we double down on that lie, as Vance and Trump are doing, and as their surrogates are doing, and as we minimize it, and as we deflect from it, and as we do everything we can, apart from accepting responsibilities for uttering a falsehood, except for accepting responsibility for bearing false witness, except for apologizing to the Haitian community of Springfield and to all immigrants around the U.S., because they're all going to get marked with this. Blood is on their hands. They are responsible. As this stuff happens, it is on them. The great lesson in all of this for us is not to point our fingers and say, they're responsible and they're going to get theirs. The lesson for us is we need to be careful ourselves. There is responsibility there are consequences to our actions, and that part of that consequence is just that it's on us and we've got to carry it. So when we bear false witness, when we cause another harm, when we intentionally ruin a person's reputation, there's no going back from that. Even in the apology, even to say, oh, geez, I never should have done it. The harm is still there. It's still present. The injury, the scars, the damage has still been done. And we wear it. We wear it like a mark. The only one that can take that from us, of course, is God. We've got to make sure, again, in a heated moment like it is today, like in this heated world that we seem to find ourselves traveling through. It's so easy, as someone mentioned earlier, it's so easy to hate and it's so difficult to love. We need to be especially careful. Be truthful. Be honest, right? Be a person of integrity. Be a person who is trying to love. If all else fails, listen to Thumper's mom, right? What does she say? If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all, right? If you can't speak without uttering a lie, if you can't speak without dehumanizing someone, just don't say anything. If you can't speak without damaging another person, even if you think they deserve it, don't say anything. Be people of integrity. Be people of intent. And please let love be the intent. You can carry the consequences of love. I can carry the consequences of speaking in love. I can carry the consequences of praising people. I can carry the consequences of supporting people. I can carry the consequences of being an ally to those who are on the margins. I can do that. You can do that. We can do that. There's a reward for that. The consequence of that is a reward. But carrying the consequence of bearing false witness against a person or an entire community is more than we can carry. And right now, those folks, I don't think they know. I don't think they know the weight. I don't think they know the damage that they've done. And if they do, they don't care. And that's magnitudes worse. Magnitudes worse, that they would use an already isolated, an already marginalized group of people. Not because the residents of Springfield are making these Haitian immigrants feel marginalized, feel less than human. Some of the stuff that I've read from the people of Springfield, that they're very supportive. It's not to say that everybody is dehumanizing immigrants, but being an immigrant in a country, it comes with a certain isolation. There's a certain sense of isolation. There's a certain sense of belonging that is missing. There's the grief of leaving. But for these people to purposefully say things that would cause pain, again, to an already pained, an already grieving, an already struggling segment of the population, for votes, to earn brownie points with people who were already probably going to vote for them, that's vile. That's vile. It's evil. Let's not be those people. Right? Hold them up. Hold up what they're doing. Hold up what they're saying. Hold up how they're acting. Hold up how they're deflecting. Hold up how they are shirking responsibility in this. See it from as many angles as you possibly can, and then commit yourself to never being like that. No good comes from that. No good comes from that. The short-term gains, again, that they will gain from people who were already going to support them, they'll be quickly devoured by the long-term pain, by the long-term ruining of their own reputation. Amen.